go. Episode 1 of the RC podcast. Crazy to say that, man. 2020, crazy time. I'm literally in my room on my phone recording a legit podcast. Crazy, man. Since this is episode 1, I decided not to have any guests. I figured on the first one, I would just tell my story in terms of sports and my career and how I became the owner and founder of RC Performance Training. Basically, a quick synopsis of how I got to where I am today. I thought that was the best route for me to go on episode 1, just so everyone can kind of get a feel for what I'm about and a little bit of my history. So, I'm actually 29 years of age. I was born at the tail end of 1990, December 22nd, 1990. And I'm just going to tell you how RC was born, man. My real name, for those that don't know, is Ryan Clark. No one really calls me that, really, besides my mother and a handful of other adults. But it all started, I'd say, on my first travel soccer team, which I probably was about 6 or 7. I got on that team, and right off the bat, there was 2 Ryans. I'm like, of course. So they decided to, go by our initials. They called me RC, and they called him RS. I think he got the shorthand of that stick. I think RC is smooth. It flows nicely. RS, it's a little rough. But anyway, that's how RC started. There was 2 Ryans on my first soccer team, so they called me RC, and 25 years later, still sticks. So that's how RC was born. And I played all sports growing up, soccer, basketball, baseball. I wrestled, I gave everything a try. But it was clear from the jump that soccer was my best sport. When I first started out in travel soccer, I started when I was 3, playing rec, but travel soccer, probably 6 or 7. I played for the best teams around. We won everything. Starting, scoring goals. I was definitely one of the top players in the area for sure. At 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 years old. Then I'd say around 12, things began to change for me. Everyone knows 12 years old. For boys, that time is a weird time. Some boys become men and some stay the same. That puberty is a monster, man. You have some kids that get those full beards. They look like a gorilla with all their arm hair at 12, 13. They got the dirty mustaches. I can still think of some kids. I was like, damn, how old are you? And there I was, a little boy at 12, just hairless. And it definitely slowed me down. I kind of fell off. I couldn't keep up anymore in terms of speed, strength, power, change of pace. I was super technical, but my mind was sharp. I knew what to do, but I couldn't hang when it came to, just speed of play and just keeping up with the pace of the game. And we know at that point anyway, 15 years ago, that's all America soccer really favored, was just strength, speed, go, go, go. And that wasn't my game. So at age 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, I'd say that whole range, all the way up to 16, I really struggled. I really fell off, man. I was playing on low-level teams, just local town teams. And I think the only thing that kept me from quitting, because I wasn't having much fun, because I wasn't having much success, was just my competitiveness, man. For what I lacked in size and strength, I made up for in just will and just wanting to succeed, and just my competitiveness. I hated to lose. So my mind wouldn't let me quit, man. I'm not the most talented guy in the world. I'm not genetically gifted by any means. But I definitely was born with something in my head that makes me borderline insane when it comes to winning and losing. I was super competitive as a child coming up, man. I didn't want to lose in a board game. I didn't want to be second in the food line. It didn't matter. I wanted to win everything. One of the stories that my family loves to poke fun at me for is I was playing my grandmother in croquet as a little kid, and she beat me, straight up beat me. And I freaked out. I yelled at her. I said she cheated. And this is the most loving lady in the world. I love her more than anyone. My grandmother is the best. But I freaked out because I'm wired differently. I'm not proud of it. Don't teach your kids to be this way. It's not a great thing. But it does favor me when it comes to sports. I'm borderline insane. And I do not want to lose in anything. So I think that will, which I think is my biggest strength by far, is what kept me in the game and kept me from quitting at 14, 15, 16. So again, all the way through sophomore year of high school, I'd say I struggled. Freshman year, this is back in high school when everyone played high school soccer, by the way. We played academy, but they didn't have the high school rule yet, so all the good players were still allowed to play high school. So I get to high school, I'm a freshman, and I don't get moved up to varsity. I play freshman soccer. My coach at the time told me I was the 5th best player on the high school soccer team. And we already know that high school soccer isn't the best level to begin with. So to be playing high school soccer, playing freshman high school soccer, and to be say you're not even a top 5 player on that freshman team, holy smokes, man. That is not good if you have dreams of, playing college and going pro. But again, I use it in the right way. It just pissed me off. And I used that energy to prove everyone wrong. That's when I really started to work when I got to high school. I quit all other sports. I quit at that point. I played, other sports up to high school. Then freshman year, I quit everything except for soccer. So freshman year came and went. Still no real success at all. Still haven't hit puberty yet. Sophomore year comes, I play varsity. I start a little bit, but again, I'm not a key player by any means. And I'm still playing for a small club team. Sophomore year comes and goes. Again, still no puberty. Still a little ass kid, slow, skinny, no hair, nothing. Finally, junior year comes along. I make the move from my town team to Match Fit Academy, who at the time was an academy club, and that's when things really started to change. I went through my junior season, again, a lot better, but still not great. And then finally, after that junior year, that spring of my junior year, I can still remember it. That spring, everything changed. Finally, I went through puberty. I was hitting the weight room. I was getting strong. I was getting faster. That's when things began to change. So now finally, senior year comes back around. I show up to senior year. I'll never forget it. I walk onto the field and my coach did a double take because I didn't show up all summer. He didn't see me. Probably didn't see me for 5 months. I show up in the fall. He's like, who the heck is this kid? I literally probably put on 10, 15 pounds of muscle. I was super fit. And then going into that senior year of high school, I wasn't even a player to watch. Not predicted to be a first-team player or anything. And then to fast forward, I had a huge senior season. My team ended up winning the championship. I was the Shore Conference Player of the Year, Asbury Park Player of the Year, Star Ledger Player of the Year, first team all Shore, first team all state, first team all region. Basically anything you can win, I won it. So basically you go, how is that possible? You go from pretty much unknown, not winning anything, almost quitting soccer, to arguably the top recruit coming out of New Jersey your senior year. How is that possible? And I think we go back to what I said in the beginning, that will, that drive, that I was able to take all those setbacks, take all that noise that people were saying about me. He's no good, he's too small, blah, blah, blah. And I was able just to get through those tough times when most people would quit or at least slow down. But I went harder. I went faster. I wanted more, and I knew what I can do. So I pushed through that, and I had tremendous success towards the tail end of my high school, and then also in club. In club, I was getting cut. This is back to 11, 12, 13. I was getting cut from, the state team. I couldn't even make New Jersey state team. And then fast forward to that junior, senior year, I'm in Cali. I'm at an academy showcase. I'm really coming into my own. I'm making plays. I'm scoring goals. And in the academy, there's a national team scout at every single game. So by my senior year, those national team scouts took notice. And they wanted to call me in, actually, to the U18 national team camp. And what happened with that was I kind of got screwed, and I give my mom a lot of crap for this. My birthday is December 22nd, 1990. And for those of you who know sports, sports go by birth year. So December 22nd is an absolute nightmare when it comes to youth sports. So when that national team scout came up and said, yeah, I want you to come into the U18 camp, when's your birthday? I'm like, God damn, December 22nd. He's like, oh, you're kidding. You're 9 days too old. You'd have to play U20. And obviously at that time, I was probably good enough to play national team in my own age group, but I was not good enough to play national team 2 years older. So, but again, that didn't really bother me. The fact that they were taking notice and I was really coming into my own is what really mattered. I knew I was going to keep getting better. So now, high school finishes up, and during this process, I got a lot of college looks, but the college that I really, really wanted to go to was Monmouth University, which is literally in New Jersey, 25 minutes from my house. So a couple of reasons for that, why I wanted to go there. I didn't want to go far. As I said, my grandparents are super close to me. They go to every single one of my games. I have a really supportive family, so I definitely didn't want to go somewhere where you'd have to fly, somewhere close driving. So that was a big reason. Another reason, the year ahead of me on the match fit team that I played for had the two best players on the team were two kids named, you might know, RJ Allen. He played for NYCFC forever. Another kid named Max Hamilton. They were the two players older than me in my club, and they were disgusting. And they both committed to Monmouth the year before me. And Monmouth already had a ton of top talent there at the time. So I was like, wow, I want to be a part of that and what they're building there. So I committed to Monmouth. So now my senior year wraps up, and even after the success I had senior year, people were still talking. RC's going to Monmouth, he's never going to play there. He's never going to see the field, blah, blah, blah. And I'm really not a talker, man. I'm pretty quiet. But I hear a lot, and everyone was saying that. There's no way that kid sees the field. He'll be a utility player, if that. All this noise. So that summer leading to my freshman year, I trained like an absolute maniac, man. Like, you couldn't train anymore. I trained all day, every day. Wake up in the morning, 5:30. This is summer, you know what I mean? Everyone's going to college. Everyone's, hanging out with their friends before they're going to separate for good. No, not me. I had a goal. I knew what I wanted to do, and I made sure that I was going to accomplish it. So that summer was probably the best time of my life, man. And that's probably why probably why I opened up a gym. I love training. I love preparing for something. So that summer, I was like, wow, I got 3 months here before I go to camp. And in my mind, I already made up. There was no way I was going to go to this team freshman year and not start from day one. There was no way. And that was the way I was thinking as an 18-year-old kid. There's no chance. And to be honest, there wasn't really any room. It was a young team. There was really no room to break into the team. It wasn't like they lost a lot of seniors. there wasn't much room. So that's why everyone's like, RC is never going to play. So I'm like, but in my head, literally, you'd have to kill me for me not to start. So what's the first thing I find out about? Okay, what's the fitness test they're going to do there? I find out it's a 2-mile run. So obviously I'm playing all summer. I make sure my touches are sharp, but also I make sure I'm fit. So I go to preseason, August 10th or whatever. I get there, we show up, we put our bags down. Coach McCourt goes, all right, guys, day 1, we're hitting the fitness test. I'll never forget it. I didn't even have running shoes. I don't know why. It didn't matter. I could have ran in boots. I would have ran fast. There's nothing that was going to stop me. And you know, when you go to college, you get all this free gear. You get cleats, you get indoors, you get runners, you get, sandals, you get everything. He gave us runners on first day. I opened the box. I took the running shoes out and I put them on, literally out of the box. And I walk up to the starting line. We're going to run the 2-mile run. And coach looks at my feet. He goes, you're wearing those? You're going to be all right? And I didn't even laugh. I didn't smile. I just nodded my head. Because literally, there's nothing that was going to stop me. And everyone's like, are you going to make it time? Are you going to make it? Everyone's freaking out. Everyone's nervous. And I'm like, shaking my head. I say, I don't know. We'll see. So Coach McCourt says, ready, set, go. I take off like a bat out of hell. You would have thought we were running a 100-meter dash. I took off as if we were running a 100-meter. And the reason for that was I love breaking people. I knew if I took off, people were going to try to hang with me. So I take off. Out of 30 people, 10 start running with me and trying to keep up. And I knew no one was going to be able to last at this pace. So I just keep running and keep running. And everyone starts falling off. I think by the end of it, I lapped every single player, captains, everyone, besides like 3 or 4. I ended up running a 9-minute and 51-second 2-mile run. And it just goes to show you, and this is what I don't get. Like, what you have to do if you want to impress the coaches on day 1. Why? And I'm not a fitness guru. I don't run I play soccer. I get in shape through soccer. I don't do track, so I'm not that kid. But my point is, I knew what was going to happen on day 1, and I wanted to make a statement. So I'll never forget it. I run the 9:51 2-mile, and we're walking back to the dorms, and I can hear people talking like, "Whoa, who the heck is this kid? Who the heck is this 18-year-old freshman coming in here?" Everyone starts talking, who is this kid? Then day 2 comes around. The balls get out. Now we start playing. And I'm locked in. I'm playing these practices like they're the World Cup final. Again, I'm not the most talented guy in the world, but I am the most prepared, and I do try harder than anyone else. So it makes up for a lot. So after the first couple of days, I'm playing really well. I'm focusing on all my touches. And then finally, on like day 3 or 4, we go 11v11. And anyone who plays soccer knows when you break up the teams 11v11, you could look around and you know where you stand. So they break us up 11v11. I look to my right. I see RJ. I look behind me. I see Boz. That's our captain. I see in front of me, we have our All-American striker, Ryan Kinney. I look in net, I see, current MLS player, Brian Meredith. So I'm like, holy shit, I'm on the starting team. The first day, I'm on the starting team. I'm like, wow. And so, like I said, and that all came from a few days of just really being prepared and taking advantage of the opportunity. So freshman year, from day 1, game 1, I'm starting. And I come out the gate like a bat out of hell, man. In the first few games, I have close to 5 goals and close to 4 or 5 assists. And I was playing outside mid on the left. So I came out super hot. And literally every game I was getting better. And our team is doing amazing. We're 12, 13, 14, and 0. We're ranked, I think my freshman year, we were ranked 5th in the country. So it was like Maryland, UNC, UCLA, someone else, and then Monmouth. We were 5th. We were on fire. I was on fire. I was having the time of my life. And then, again, we're still winning. We're having tremendous success as a team. I was loving it. I was loving Monmouth. And then, I'll never forget it, the injuries started to happen my freshman year of college. Before that, from age, when I started playing soccer, age 6, 7, up through 18, never had one injury my entire life. Never stretched, never warmed up, never did anything at all. And then one day, I go to take a shot in practice in the middle of my freshman season, and I just feel something go pop, and I'm like, what the hell was that? It wasn't terribly painful, but I knew something wasn't right. So anyway, I'm in pain, but I kept playing through it. I couldn't figure out what it was. The whole season, I would just take a leave or whatever before the remaining games, and just work my way through it. So freshman year comes and goes. We end up finishing. We beat UConn in the first. We win the conference. We win the conference tournament. We go to the NCAA tournament. We beat UConn in the first round. We end up losing to Harvard in the second round. Not proud of that one. And then, I had a great freshman campaign. First team freshman All-American, which means I was in the top 10, according to some people, in the country for my class. So again, let's rewind again. Freshman year of high school, not top 5 on my freshman high school soccer team. 4 years later, freshman year of college, people were claiming that I was a top 5 freshman in the whole country. So I couldn't be a top 5 player in my own high school. So out of 100 people, I couldn't be top 5. Now, out of thousands of people throughout the whole country, I was top 5. So things were really clicking for me. But again, going back to that injury I mentioned, I still had that, and I had no idea what it was. My trainers couldn't figure it out. Nobody can figure out what was wrong with me. They're like, you're. I think it's in your head. I was getting MRIs. Nothing was showing up on the MRI. So I go the whole spring, the whole summer, just playing through this. Something was going on in my groin abdominal area. And then my sophomore year comes, and I'm like, I'm still hurt, man. But couldn't figure out what it was, so I played my whole sophomore year. Definitely not as successful as my freshman year from an individual standpoint, but again, still started every game. First team this, first team that. Awesome team success again. Sophomore year, we were 4th in the country, as high as number 4. And then after my sophomore year, I'm like, I can't do this anymore. I'm in terrible pain. I need to figure out what is wrong with me. So my dad and I did research on the symptoms, and we kind of went out on our own. We researched this guy in Philly who was a specialist in sports hernias, and I go see him, and he goes, "Yeah, you have a double sports hernia." So I'm like, "You're telling me over a year and a half ago I suffered a sports hernia and I had no idea?" He goes, "Yep." I'm like, "Wow." So that was the beginning. So literally the next day or 2 days later, I get the double sports hernia surgery. I recover from that, finally getting back to full fitness, and I come back for my junior year. Again, healthy now. I'm healthy. I'm feeling great. We have another great team. We go out. I have another great campaign. First team again. Big Apple Soccer Player of the Year, which is basically the tri-state area. So I was the number 1 player in the tri-state area. More great success. So now 3 years are down. And now we get into my senior year. Right before my senior year, this is the turning point where if this doesn't happen, I'm probably not sitting here doing this podcast. I'm probably not sitting here a gym owner. This is the moment in my life that changed everything. It's the very, very end of the spring season of my junior year, so we're about to turn the corner into summer and then going into senior year. I get into a tackle in practice and I break my ankle. It's got to be late April, close to May. I break my ankle and I'm like, oh my God, there's no way I'm doing this now right before my senior year. So I get on boots, I get a boot, I get crutches, and I'm literally in the boot and on the crutches for maybe 2 or 3 days. And I'm like, screw this, I'm not doing this. This is my greatest advantage, but it also kills me. Like I said, my competitiveness, it's my greatest strength, but it also hurts me at times. I was like, I'm going to play through this. I threw the crutches down, threw the boot in the closet, and never got it again. I started changing the way I ran. I changed the way I strike the ball just to deal with the pain of the broken ankle. I was popping a leave, every single day, which is awful for you. But I just felt, going into my senior year, I knew where I stood. You have the mock drafts. They kind of predict who's going to go where. And in all the mock drafts, I was getting picked. So I'm like, I'm not going to redshirt my senior year, So I was like, you have to play through this. It'll heal. And back then I wasn't experienced in the body. Me now, I know how bad of an idea that was, how much I was overcompensating. It definitely was not a good idea. So I changed the way I run. I started running on the side of my foot. So somehow I survived my senior year, still play well enough, still get more success. Now senior year is over, and it's time to finally achieve my goal of going pro. But again, through my senior year, towards the end, little injuries started to pile up. Again, a tweaked calf, strained quad, tight hamstring, and I knew all of this was coming from the ankle. And my ankle still hasn't healed. Now it's like 6 months later, but I ran on it, and every time I kicked the soccer ball, I feel like I re-broke it. And it's my left ankle, and people that know me, I'm heavily left-footed. So now it's December, going into January. It's time for the MLS Combine. So I head down to Florida for the MLS Combine. Probably 40 or 50 of the top players get invited down. So I get down there, and I somehow just keep it together. Like, at this point, my body is broken. I knew I could just man up for 3 days, 4 days, 5 days, however long the combine was. It was 3 games over 5 days. I knew I could man up for that amount of time and just get through it. So I get down there, and again, another thing that played to my advantage. It's in Florida. Most of us are from cold places. Like in New Jersey in January, it's 20 degrees. So when you get down to Florida, it's almost like a shock. It's 80. It's humid. People are sucking wind. So again, going back to always being prepared, I made sure besides the injury, I was super fit. So I got down there. I was playing center mid. From the center mid position, you really can control the game. So I was all over the place. I made sure I was involved. I was making plays. I was definitely turning heads. After the first day, they did an article on me. MLS.com did an article on me, which definitely built up my name further. So all in all, I had a great MLS Combine. So good, in fact, that once the Combine finished, they did their final mock draft the night before the MLS draft, the 2013 MLS draft. And in the mock draft, I was predicted to go round 1 in the first round to the LA Galaxy. So I'm like, wow, this is amazing. I can't believe this is happening. This is so surreal. So the draft comes. I don't go first round. I end up getting picked 39th overall by the New York Red Bulls. And I'm like, holy smokes, I'm from New Jersey, New York. My whole life, I grew up supporting this club. It's my local team. I'm like, this is surreal. So I get drafted. The next day, I have to fly down to Florida for preseason camp. And now reality sets in. Now I'm like, all right, this is great, but you also have a broken ankle. How are you going to pull this off? So I fly down there, I get there, and I'm just like not even close to what I know I should be. Um, so again, I still pull it off. I still make it all the way to the end. Season's about to start, and literally as we're flying home for the week before the first game, like the roster's pretty much set. Everyone that's been cut's been cut. We're about to fly home, and Mike Pecky at the time, who was the coach of the New York Red Bulls, calls me over and goes, "Listen, you're not where you need to be right now to be with the first team." And at the time, it was only first team. There was no such thing as New York Red Bulls 2. You know what I mean? There was no USL affiliate. So you either played first team or that was it. So he calls me over in the airport, literally as we're about to fly home after 2 months of preseason. He goes, "You're not where you need to be." And I couldn't argue with him because I was not fit to play. There's no way I could have played a real match or lasted anywhere close to a whole season. So he goes, "Since you live locally, go home, take care of your body, get healthy, and then, come back and we'll take it from there and see if we can work you back in." So I go home and I'm just devastated. I think I locked myself in my room for 2 or 3 straight days. Didn't leave my room. Because I'm thinking to myself, 21 years of work for soccer, and here I am in my bedroom at home instead of, with the team preparing for week 1. So I was crushed, devastated, man. Absolutely. I don't think I've ever been more depressed. I was so depressed. I was in a deep, dark place. And I get sports isn't that big of a deal. There's much more important things in life, but I get that now. But at that time, as a young kid, you don't think that way. It's all you care about. So, man, that was tough. So I come back and I'm like, well, what are we gonna do? Are we gonna get healthy? Are we gonna try to get healthy? So I'm trying to get healthy here, and things just aren't happening. I'm talking, my body is messed up, man. I'm twisted up. Everything is out of alignment because I overcompensated for so long. The fact was, like, this is going to take me a really long time. And it took me years just to get back to feeling okay. And at that point, I completely fell off the radar when it came to soccer. And I knew what I wanted to do. I was either going to start in MLS at the lowest or not play. I'm not the type of guy who was going to play USL. I was not going to go overseas to some small country and live by myself. I didn't love the game of soccer enough to just play just to play. I wanted to be successful. I wanted to win. I wanted to be the best I can be. And I knew where I was, and I knew how good I should have been. So I wouldn't have been able to accept anything less than playing in the MLS. So now I'm like 24 years old, and I'm like, do I make one last run at it? Or do I start my next career, which I always knew I wanted to do, which was open up my own training facility. I knew early on, man, I'm very lucky. The goal was very simple. Play professional soccer, and then whenever that's done, open up my facility. So now I'm 24, and I get presented with this opportunity of this building that I'd be able to, lease. So I'm like, damn, what do I do? Do I make one last run at the league, or do I start my next career? That was definitely the hardest decision of my life so far. And I decided to go with the training. And, that's kind of where I'm at right now. I opened my gym right around my 25th birthday. I'm now 29 years of age, so I've had my gym for a little over 4 years. And I don't regret it, man. I don't. I love my life. I feel like I'm exactly where I need to be. I'm doing what I was, meant to do. Back to what I said earlier in this podcast was I loved training. I always made sure I was prepared. I always wanted to reach my goals. And now I have a chance to help others. I knew I never could be the best soccer player in the world. I could have been pretty good, but never. I'm not going to be Ronaldo or any of those guys. It's impossible. I'm not. It's not in the cards. I need a new mom and a new dad. I need to start over if that's ever going to happen. You know what I mean? But in my new career, I feel like I can be the Ronaldo of what I'm doing. I think that's possible. I really do. So, am I there yet? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. I might never get there, but I know it's possible, so I'm going to try. And that's how I got to where I am today. So now I'm obsessed with studying, trying new things to make my athletes better. I train athletes of all sports. I have 2 sides to my gym now. I have a weight room side where I train, football, basketball, baseball, field hockey, gymnastics, whatever, soccer. And then I have a turf side where I do soccer-specific training as well. So I have the best of both worlds, So I'm all over social media. I post all my content. Now I have a podcast. I'm looking forward to talking to other athletes and just other people in general about their life and their stories and just getting some good conversations going. But at the end of the day, I'm super happy with how things are going, and I know I haven't reached my peak yet. And even athletically, I haven't reached my peak yet. And this is where I feel like I can help a lot of people out. I don't think I'm going to hit my prime athletically until like 35, 36, 37. And you might call me crazy for that. You're like, dude, that makes no sense. Father Time is undefeated. But hear me out. What I'm saying is, I feel like I was playing at a deficit my whole career. Meaning I didn't move efficiently. I didn't know how to run properly, or, all my mechanics were off. So my point is, Ryan Clark at 25 years old was operating at 65, 70%. Ryan Clark in the future, as I keep getting better here, at 36, 37, might be operating at 100% efficiency. I don't have the strength and speed and power that I had at 25, but what I'm saying is, me at 36, 37 at 100% efficiency could be better than me at 25 at 65, 70% efficiency. That's what I'm trying to say. I'm at the point now where I'm really learning my body. I'm really back to that broken ankle. I'm still feeling that. I still, when I kick the ball, it hasn't healed, and it still haunts me a little bit. That sports hernia I had, it still bothers me. My body is not 100%, and it might never be, but I'm slowly but surely, every week I come back to train my clients and I start moving around again, I'm getting better. I'm becoming a better mover. My technique is getting better, and I'm helping my athletes in the same way. So I think, I'm not kidding, I don't think I'm going to reach my prime athletically until my later 30s. I swear, at the rate I'm going right now, I'm getting better by the day. And that's how I want to help other people. But again, being good at 36, 37 doesn't do me any good. I wish I learned this at 17, 18, 19, 20. Then maybe I'd still be playing. So that's where my focus is now. I'm obsessed with the body. I'm obsessed with all things sports and just getting the competitive edge, whether it's mentally or physically. So that's what RC performance training is all about. I'm 4 years and some change in, and I'm just looking forward to the future and growing this brand and touching as many people as I can. The more knowledge I get, the more I want to give. I want to bring people value. You literally can be whatever you want to be. Whatever. In 2020, the opportunities are endless. That same drive that I brought into my soccer career, which took me from an unknown kid from Freehold, New Jersey, who couldn't even be a top 5 player on his freshman team, to playing for the New York Red Bulls, to being an All-American, to being a mock draft first round and getting selected 39th overall in the draft, like that same kid, I'm taking that same drive into my business, which is why I'm here right now in my guest bedroom with my phone recording this podcast. Most people would be like, I need the perfect studio. I need some microphones. I need the sick headphones, yada, yada, yada. My whole life, I never had the best of anything. I just had something deep inside of me that I mentioned earlier, that will, just to take action. And it might take me longer than most because I'm not that talented, but I'm willing to put in the work necessary to get where I want to go. So I'm going to keep working. This podcast is the newest addition to the RC brand. I can't wait to continue to bring you guys value and have some awesome guests on here for you guys. Today, being the first episode, I just want to get on here and just literally talk about my career from a young kid all the way to the Red Bulls and how the gym came about. So that's it for today. I'm really looking forward to the future. I can't wait to get back on here and talk to you guys and continue to bring you that value. So thank you for listening, and I'll see you guys in the next episode. Peace out.